Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Storytale Staging inside the Home Staging TV YouTube channel. I'm your host, Tori Toth. Today, we have an award-winning master stager, color expert, accredited staging professional master with IHOS, author, creator of Kat's Home, chat host, and so much more. She is the founder, president, and visionary for Tada by Kat, Next Level Staging and Design. Please welcome Kat Trelinos to the show. Hi.
Hi, thank you for that wonderful introduction. Like, who is that?
Well, when you do such amazing things, yeah, you're going to have a great introduction. Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
So how is it going? Let's get to know Kat a little bit.
Oh,
how did you get into staging? And you're like, that's a loaded question.
Okay, let's see if I can remember that part. So just real quick, I was in corporate America, had a little side hustle, studied color and design, really got involved in theater in, my late teens and in high school, and just was really kind of wowed by color and design. And then I always had kind of an affinity towards fashion. I'm blinging it on today for the whole.
I love it.
And I was actually a personal shopper in Southern California for a short time. That was, a creative outlet for me, and I got my chops, out there in a creative expression in fashion. And then fast forward to getting into real estate, all things real estate. I worked for a top builder here in Houston. I was their in-house staging professional. That's actually what I got. This is so poignant. There's so many things happening right now in terms of interviews coming up and articles and all kinds of stuff. And I guess the stars are just lining up. I celebrated 10 years as being an ASP, accredited staging professional, now master staging professional. So kind of an anniversary decade for that. And now we're branching out into Cat's Eye and Decor. Of course, design, we've segued into that with design and so forth. So yeah, I guess, I don't know, one of my recent interviewers, Gal, she does Houston City Beat. And I was on her show, and she says she interviews creative geniuses. And I'm like, oh, I like that.
Well, you are a creative genius, and you've added a lot of different, ways to make money in your business throughout the years. And congrats on 10 years.
Thank you.
It's an amazing.
Thank you. And I try not to think about it as but it is. It's a very, I believe it was Tiffany Curry. I hope I'm getting her name right. A renowned thought leader and realtor in the Houston area. I went to a Women's Council meeting, and she talked about having 8 revenue streams. And many know I do keep my real estate license. I don't promote it, but it's a small, but nice revenue stream for a family who refer friends, and sometimes clients that go, I want you to do everything. But I don't actively. As you know, being a staging professional and a marketing and other professional and your platform, it takes a lot. And real estate is, I think it's hard to do full-time both. It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So yeah, to do that. But so yeah, and so.
I love it. So you talked a little bit about, you do both staging and design. Talk about the differences there so people get a better idea of what we're going to be talking about today.
Yes, absolutely. So, we're going to talk today about top trends for 2022. They're the top 10 in the eyes of me, never to be so humble, Kat. Because there's probably, I know there's way more, and we don't have enough time to go through all of them. So I picked the top 10. And as we go through it, Tori, as I talked to you pre-show, I'll try to point out the differences. Basically, we stage homes to appeal to as many people as possible in that demographic and that price point area to sell faster and for more money to protect their equity. We do use design elements. Absolutely, we use design elements. But when I meet with design clients, then it's all about them. and it's how they want to live in the space, how they want to feel in the space. So it's how the home owner, wants to feel in the space when we talk about design. And it's really the potential buyer, who are we attracting, in that demographic area, price point area, and how do they want to feel? So it is all about feelings.
Yes.
We use all of our senses to feel, don't we? The first being vision. But yes, there are differences, absolutely.
And so, you put together this lovely PowerPoint slide, which I'm so excited to share with everybody.
You like it. It really pumped me up because I just put it together yesterday. It pumped me up to go, I need to go out and share this with folks and get in front of folks again and so forth. Sometimes we get so bogged down. But I love sharing, and with the new year and the new trends. So you're going to see a theme here: organic, green, sustainable, things like that. As I kind of illustrated in this front cover when I was looking, what design to come up with.
Well, I love green, and I want to make sure. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, I can. I don't know if our viewers can, but I can still see you. Absolutely.
Well, if you still see me and the screen at large, then I'm going to keep it like this. This
way
everybody
perfect.
Can see it. Okay, so
we have to really start off with color, and it's really not what is the top trend. Let's just talk about color. I didn't list this as one of the 10. And many of you know that the color of the year is Evergreen Fog, Sherwin-Williams. And Evergreen Fog is a grayish paint color that has just a hint of blue. So, one thing that you want to look for if you are looking to paint, if you don't want an undertone, it's those pesky undertones that you have to pay attention to. And sometimes you really can't see that if you don't have a trained eye or you're not counseling with a color specialist. So it does have a hint of blue, but it's very calming. It's very organic. It feels like it brings the outside in, which we're going to talk more about how, it provides a relaxing backdrop for the things that are going to make us happy.
I love it. I love this shade.
I do too. I had a recent design client, and she just, oh my gosh, I love it. Love it, love it. So we're going to integrate it in her space.
I love it. And so this is how you can integrate it.
This is, yes. And I love how it's the perfect backdrop for many of the things we're going to talk about, Tori. You've got the, black, it looks like a black door, of course, the arches, you've got greenery, and then that pop of kind of a harvest gold, with a natural looking credenza or entry table. It's just a great backdrop, for the designs that are to come this year.
Yeah, it's a very natural color that you'll see in nature versus this color, which
in nature. So this just came out Thursday of last week. It just came out, the Pantone color of the year, which is Very Perry. I had a hard time finding any examples in a room, and this is a photo by Pantone, I think, as was listed by Martha Stewart. You may not have a media room, but this would be great. You can't see that they had actually the Pantone screen on the TV. This is a media room. But, think about how you might use it and pepper it with accessories if you want to, bring in this color or a shade of this color.
Yeah, this is definitely more of like a whimsical color that you can play with, like they did here in this picture, like having it on the ceiling or even the windowsills. Very
yes, it's expressive, electric, creative, and so there may be a space, whether you have a craft room, a media room, a jamming room, what have you. They may be the proper place and space for you to use it, either in paint or in accessories. Yeah, very vibrant.
Love it.
So color raises vibration, and I pulled this from actually a course I was going to teach for GHPA along with a colleague of mine, and COVID got shut down. But in doing my research, this was a statistic that just blew me away in terms of the power of color. So we know sound is power, music, sounds, basically all sorts of sounds. So the human ear has a range of 16 to 40 1,000 vibrations per second. Light and color has a whopping 500 billion vibrations per second.
Wow.
So based on that, gee, how can we not admit, yeah, that color is powerful. And we could do a whole another segment on lighting and the different types of lights and lumens and things like that. But just color alone, and that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that's made in design and omitted in staging.
True.
Many people who know me and know my work know that I don't do, as Joanne Lynette Weary says, bless her heart, love you, Joanne, I don't do bowls of oatmeal. And I've got 3 color certifications, and I'm constantly, taking courses in addition to that, because color is complicated, but when you use it and you use it right, it's so powerful, as these statistics tell you. It can raise the vibration, and who doesn't want to raise the vibration in a potential buyer?
Exactly. And get them to make that offer.
Yep. Exactly.
So it looks like
something memorable. But you got to do it right. Triangulate the color. All kinds of stuff. You got to use color properly. But it is powerful. So
these are some of the trends that are happening.
This is half top 10. I whittled it down to 10, so we wouldn't be here for 3 hours. Well, she wanted me to.
We could talk trends forever.
Right? I know it. And when you do your research on that, I pulled the ones that resonated with me, because everybody has an opinion, whether they're a designer or a stager, and however many years that and time they have experience, we all have our personal preferences and our style, our signature. So number one of my favorites, we just did a luxury space and used black pears. I didn't bring a picture in here because it's on the market. But this actually picture by Sherwin-Williams shows 2 of my favorite, and that is black accents and woven textures. Back to the organic, sustainable, etc. We've been seeing it for a few months now. We're going to be seeing more of natural fabrics, whether it's in textile, furniture. We're seeing it now. That's one place where I need to amp up my inventory and start getting more of the woven textures in furniture, because it's lovely and plays well against modern contemporary, and it just adds depth and texture and warmth to spaces. So black accents and woven textures are 2 of my favorite. What do you think, Tori? How about you?
Yeah, no, I love woven textures in like an accent chair, in like even like a storage bin or baskets. So definitely. And I love that how Sherwin-Williams actually paired the 2 together, because black accents are they're so bold and they give you such a feeling, and the woven texture gives you the exact opposite feeling. So pairing them together,
it's actually the perfect juxtaposition. Good point, Tori. And I think in design and as well as in staging, you need to have that balance. If not, it becomes. I had a director many years ago when I was studying in California, an acting workshop. And if someone was doing a monologue and they were just like, it felt like they were acting, he'd say, "That's too mucking fudge." And that's really what happens sometimes, if you can have too much of a good thing. So I love that you pointed that out. It's all about the yin and the yang and the balance and completing, not competing, and really having a platform for those to work well together.
I love it. What are some other ones here?
So number 4, home office. And there was lots of examples. I only pulled a couple. So if we can go back to the other one, back button, if that's okay, if you can't. I just love the back one, and if you did see it, because they used a small space and had just a drop down, had a drop down. So this is actually a stage of ours, which integrates, the color, which we're seeing more of, a juxtaposition of color. And we're going to talk about using pink and orange in another slide. And this was a great space with dual spaces, for, let's say, children, college students, spouses, etc. And then one I saw that I didn't pull the picture on was, just taking a little niche closet and putting a curtain and using that space as a drop office. So I think what we're finding more with folks, working from home more than ever, is they don't want to share or just be working on the, kitchen table and have to move that and just feel harried all the time, because now you've got to squish all your stuff and serve dinner and so forth. So we're seeing from design perspective, folks creating and asking us to help them create defined workspaces that feel comfortable.
That and like using multifunctional spaces in their existing, rooms, right? Like making turning the home office into a corner, like the closet you were saying. They call that cloffices.
Cloffices? I like that.
Cloffices. So it's a closet office.
Oh, I like it. Cloffices. Yes. Under a niche in a stairwell, there's a lot of creative ways that you can do it. And I particularly like that one, that the first picture, because you could drop it. It was like a drop down.
Yeah.
And then you could do it up, and then bam, there's no office. All the mess is gone.
I love it. So
number 5 is natural light. We're going to be seeing, and to me, a designer actually that I researched talked about this, and I've seen it in a couple of areas. To me, I'm all about lighter and brighter, but lighter and brighter and greener, which we talked about, greener. And I think there's a slide that calls it out in terms of using more plants for design. Again, it's organic. It's bringing that nature, that source. All of our spaces are typically very linear, and so it softens the space. It's actually better for the air, etc. Now, this is not probably something that you would go for in staging, but don't forget your botanicals. Thank you, Jenny Norris. Your faux botanicals. No, we don't call them fake trees or plants. They're faux botanicals. And they create the same feeling as a real plant without the maintenance. Of course, at home, I'm starting to integrate, I have a monstera, I have some live plants. My daughter-in-law inspired me. She's got like a huge green thumb and like a greenhouse, to have real plants. But again, for staging, don't omit the greenery. Make sure you have high quality. Don't go for cheap, right? You can tell cheap faux botanicals, and I will call them fake plants at that point. So, invest in high quality, the highest quality that you can afford.
Yes, for sure.
Yes.
And I in this picture too, I like the fact that I feel like natural wood is coming back more than having it stained or dark, espresso, cherry, right? It's this natural wood that's coming back in.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Back to nature is what it's all about. Back to nature. And along that, with that line, it is, we're integrating. I love the European aesthetic. So we're integrating and seeing an integration of the Scandinavian cleaner lines, lighter wood, as you said, Tori, is all, definitely on trend. You've got your black in there as well. Yeah, lovely.
Gorgeous.
Number 6, one of my fave, biophilic design. It's not going anywhere. It's picking up momentum, and it's close to my heart because we have begun a production. We've done several restaurants, design clients on creating the one on the far left, panels for the back of her couch in the next couple of weeks. And it again brings the outdoors in. It's what I call feel-good design. And studies actually show that green promotes a sense of connection with nature, which, so many of us are disconnected, again, being in front of our computers, being in cities, things like that. So, it goes back to the feeling. It makes us feel connected. It makes us feel closer to source. And a little added thing that we infuse, that I infuse into every creation, because each piece is custom and handcrafted, is we integrate I always get the number right, 432 hertz sound while we're creating, which is in an alignment energy. So if you do believe that everything is energy, which it is, even inanimate objects, every piece is infused with the highest of energy. So we're really proud of that.
Wow, I
We're
love
going
it.
to see more and more of that.
I love this. I actually want to do like a succulent wall. Is this faux greenery, or is this something that you would like keep alive and spray?
It is. That's a good question. It is not faux. It's not plastic. It's not synthetic. You can go that route. We are now using, and you'll see one later, you know, I'm creating them for staging projects as well as design projects. I source moss, various varietals, like in the center there, that's like a bun moss. And then you see all the different colors. I source it from, I think I'm up to like 8 different countries.
Wow.
And it is preserved moss. So you don't have to have a green thumb. The only thing you ever have to do is mist it. It'll, like I've stacked them before, and then you mist it and it plumps back up. But I don't create the ones that are living that you have to maintain. There's another process for that if you wanted to get the moss and actually put it on a medium that grows. But I don't go that route. These are all maintenance free.
That's always a plus, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So these were 2 very large pieces that we were very proud to donate to, I believe it was last year's Worldwide Staging Service Week. I was the ambassador that year. I think that was the 3rd year I was ambassador. And this was the entry to Yes to Youth. They had leased out a building that was an old school. And so they had all this cinder block, you know, not very warm, inviting. You can't see it, but we were able to source a really long, like commercial bench. And then we hung these 2 lovely pieces that all of their youth come into a room. We did the room that you see right past the last biophilic, and they come for counseling, et cetera. So we were really proud to donate those to the community.
I love that. And I love like that second set of them, the way that you've almost like striped it out by color. It creates like a nice art focal piece for sure.
Yes, it's it was kind of the idea behind it was almost, you know, like organic terrain, you know, like a river and greenery and movement and flowing. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's a good one. I need to put that one in my house this year.
What's that?
the biophilic.
I can custom make you any size, any shape, honey. Let's talk.
Ooh.
So spa trends we're going to see. And I actually had a lady on my show from Mr. Steam to size my shower. We're in the process of having drawings made up, et cetera. We are installing a steam shower. And so you're going to see more and more of that. You know, jacuzzis. This is a gorgeous one with the
seriously.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely gorgeous. But you can actually retrofit your regular shower, which is what we are doing. We're going to take it up a little and out just a little bit. We're going to retrofit that. Super health benefits, you know, to having a steam shower. So if you're looking, you know, again, you know, if you're looking to pamper yourself, you're spending more time at home, et cetera, you might want to look into that. From a staging perspective, you know, just know and be prepared, you know, to augment these beautiful, like, I haven't seen an indoor jacuzzi. I think that's probably a tub, right? Yeah, probably a jacuzzi tub.
Yeah.
So, you know, typically what we will do is, you know, something next to it, you know, set a little vignette with something next to it. Like, you know, they've got a towel with a floral. I love those pots. And that must be a skylight that they have there.
Yeah, that's cool, where you can kind of get a little nature.
Yeah.
A little nature in your spa.
Yes. Ooh, so yeah. Number 8, sculpted rattans. We had, you know, rattan earlier, but you're going to be seeing more sculpted rattans, as is shown in the picture on the right. and natural elements. So I love this picture, and I don't know where I sourced it from, but we've been using for a little bit. I think we have a live edge table, large live edge table that we use in our luxury staging. I love this piece that it has an acrylic base.
Yes, it's so really cool. Gorgeous. It's like almost floating in midair.
Isn't that cool with the acrylic base? Just got my heart.
The things that get us worked up, Kat.
And it plays so well, against, as you've mentioned, the contrast, the juxtaposition from here, a very contemporary, modern space, and then you've got this beautiful, organic, natural table. Mm-hmm. It just plays really well together. Yeah,
I love it, and I love the rattan too. Like,
yeah,
give me these chairs.
I know, right? I don't know where those came from. And you've got a little bit of terracotta, which we're seeing the warmer tones. That would actually play well with the fog green. And of course, the black natural element on the table. Yeah. Love it.
I love it too. Oh my goodness.
Okay. So we're going to bring it. That's my granddaughter, Elizabeth. So I couldn't help but show.
Aww.
She's our littlest ta-da stager. And so I needed to include her. And over here, this is actually in my house, and that's a night. It is not real, it's faux, and it's a great grade. So I wouldn't hesitate to use that if I needed to put it on a stage, but I'm kind of stingy. I probably wouldn't take it out of the house.
You're like, it's mine. It's my unique piece. I love it.
It'll be gone. And this rooted table. Oh my gosh, this is a company, and I don't remember the name, but they're out of Dallas. And they posted on Instagram, and I reshared. But is that the most fabulous root table
ever?
That
is gorgeous.
So that would be way too expensive probably to purchase for staging, but it would be lovely in design.
And way too heavy to move it around all the time.
That's true, girlfriend. Yes, that's... back before I had a transit or a lot of, warehouse room, et cetera, I was all about, that's a table that collapses. That'll fit in my back seat.
Yes.
It's lightweight. I don't have to lift it. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous if you're looking for a stunning piece. And again, it plays really well. The organic, natural, sustainable pieces play really well against neutral, clean line aesthetics. Very much
gorgeous. I love that picture. Ooh, I'm in love with this like orangey coral color.
Yes, isn't that lovely? I can't change that into my home. So this is why we do this, so we can live vicariously through other designs, other people's stuff. So I'm trying to, with a current client, like, how can I integrate this coral?
I kind of started integrating it into my bedroom.
Oh.
And it's on my Christmas tree right now too, like the greens, the corals, a little splash of red.
Oh, nice. And so I like that, that you've taken, and that's what we're going to be seeing, new color combos, pairing orange with pink, rust with blush, with the green, the browns, keeping the tone of the organic and the natural, but surprising it and pushing it a little with, the little tangerine base. Works really well. And so we're going to be seeing more of that. Like on the greens, instead of there being the forest green that we saw before, we're going to be seeing more muted olive greens, kind of like you see in a little pop in that picture.
Any type of green is my favorite.
Yes,
definitely
too.
My favorite color. But I love that. I feel like design is starting, or the trends are, obviously shifting from the gray and, how everyone was combining grays and blues and stuff, and really caressing the warm tones.
Yes, I love that. Yes, caressing the warm tones. I like how you put it. And it's not, blues and greens are beautiful.
Yeah.
But see how you can take that, it's like, again, I'm going to quote Joanne, it's not the color, it's the saturation. So take that, whatever that blues and greens, let's say you've got a ton of blues and greens, you're a staging professional, see where you can move that, edge that into a different hue, and complement it. I had a client one time last year, design client, and he's like, well, I don't know, that's a different shade of blue. It was, I don't know what we were, I think he was painting a table and we're adding. I go, dude, we can, all the blues play together. We can push the envelope with, go from jewel to turquoise, pop it with black. You know, they mix and play together as long as you stay within the saturation level, you know.
People get very scared about mixing colors together.
They do.
Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, I guess you can get it wrong, but can you really get it wrong? You know, like if you're staying in the same hues or naturals or popping opposites, like
absolutely. If I'm going to give one color kind of color tip,
yeah,
you know, if someone's afraid of using color, and that's what I see really when I don't see color, it's just because they, you know, they're not comfortable with how to use color. But the biggest kind of delineation is, do the litmus test. Is it warm or is it cool? Mm-hmm. Make that decision and you won't miss the mark. You know, the biggest mistake I see from, you know, flippers and even homeowners, et cetera, especially back when the gray thing was crazy, is they've got a Baltic, you know, yellow brownish granite from year, and they put in, like, oh, gray is the color, let's do gray. Yes. They do a gray. They don't research to find out, is it a warm gray or is it a cool gray? And they miss the mark and do a cool gray, and it just misses the mark. It competes, it does complete, and it's just, it looks wrong. And even people who don't know color, they just say something's not right. They don't know what it is, but something's not right.
So the undertones.
Do the litmus test on either a gray piece of paper or a white piece of paper, and, you know, whatever your fixed element is, start with that if you're not changing it, and that will determine, do you need to go with a cool or a warm, and then from there you can bring in fabric and accessories and pillows or what have you. But yeah,
I love that trick. And I think too, like, a lot of people are just, I think everything's got to match, right? Like, we have to have the same blue. And so what you were saying too, mixing the tones and being a little playful, like everything doesn't have to match. Nobody's going to be in your house and like, you're using, you know, a antique brass here, but a gold chrome over there. Like, it all kind of goes together.
Yes. Oh, that's such a good point. So sightline is, you know, what I tell my team is the biggest thing. If it's in my sightline, I'm going to be more cognizant of making sure they play together. But if it's in another room, you can kind of have your own thing going on there. Just, you know, pepper the pop colors throughout so it looks cohesive. But absolutely, I think that you're so right on in terms of, it doesn't have, it's boring when you go, okay, we're going to do this shade of blue in every single space. It appears predictable. It's not as interesting. Yeah. It's not as rich, you know, so play with it, you know, because there's probably 6-7 shades you can use within one space, you know, of the same color. You know, I think rule of thumb, isn't it, Tori? And I know Joanne teaches this too. You know, typically you want 2 colors, possibly 3.
Yes.
You know? But that doesn't mean shades, that you mix it with like a textured pattern that has multiple shades within it. You know, a pillow, let's say. Pillows are my favorite way to punctuate color.
Yes, I love pillows. And we are rounding into the 10th. Trend here, but if you guys have questions, go ahead, put them in the comments below so we can get to those after number 10. And this is like a completely different picture. Wow. Okay.
It is. And this slide cut off some of it. There was a nice green dresser on the left, and I think a ladder, like a light wood ladder on the right. But this is close to my heart because in another life, when I was pregnant with my son, my baby boy, I opened up Serendipity, a vintage shop in Southern California. And so I love finds, I love vintage pieces. And I still, to this day, you know, I'm attracted to things that are unique. And so I'm glad to see it coming back. And if you've got vintage pieces, and even if you're a staging professional, it's more, again, less predictable and more interesting, and puts your kind of thumbprint on your design, your staging design, if you come up with some interesting pieces to integrate in. And I like how they went with not foo-foo bedding, very, white boxed, skirt with just a pop of sunny yellow, played against the glam crystal antique chandelier. And then, of course, your antique looks like trunk at the end of the bed. But we're going to be seeing a lot more vintage pieces. And so I ask you to play with it, have fun, go to some vintage antique thrift shops, etc., and find something that speaks to you.
I love it. I think it instantly just adds your personality into a room. I mean, even if you're staging, you can add the personality of the potential buyer, right?
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. That's what I'm saying. Don't discount it if you're a stager, because that can work. So I think you have to hit the space bar. This is a video.
Ooh.
I don't know if it'll. Oh, I see it coming up. Hit enter or the space bar and it should play.
It's not playing.
Oh, bummer.
Ooh.
Huh.
Well, you'll have to tell us what it was.
Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, darn. Okay. It was this, recent luxury condo that we staged that had really so many of the elements: the black, the pink and orange. Yeah, just a real good example. Just happened to be, we just staged it a couple of weeks ago. So darn.
Yeah, it's not working. But I love these trends. These are some of my favorites. Like, I even love, like I said, the first one where you're taking the bold and mixing it with the natural. I'm a mixer, the eclectic type of. That's who I am. So I love being able to mixing and matching and breaking rules.
I think that's coming back, Tori. Back in my day, and I'm a few years older than you, but I think even folks who are not much older than you remember that you would go out and buy, your parents would buy a family suit, or a living room suit.
Yes.
And the coffee table, the matching end tables, the sofa, and
and everything would be very big and like over.
Yep. More is more. More is more. But the matchy. And I worked for over a decade in model homes and new home sales, and we saw back then, some 15 years ago, that they were going away from that, and you would see how it can be daunting, just like color can be daunting if you don't know the undertones. It can be daunting, and maybe you feel it's easier just to go, well, I'll take that. It all matches. But it's just so much more interesting to have, like you said, to have pieces that play well together but don't match at all.
Yes. I think
I love that too.
More
eclectic,
interest.
I guess they're still calling it eclectic. And we're going to see more of that, of what you love. And not cookie cutter, but more eclectic, which I think is awesome. Yeah.
Well, I think it's also it's like our society too, just trying to be more inclusive and not having everything be so matchy and one thing, right? Like bringing in culture, bringing in, getting outside the vanilla. So, Kat, if people want to learn more about you, where should they go?
Okay, well, they can call me directly. I always answer my cell phone unless I'm in a meeting, and that's at 281-798-3750. You can find me on Facebook, Tada by Kat. You can find me on Instagram, and my website is www.tadabykat.com.
I love it. Make sure that you guys go follow Kat and check out all of her trends and everything that she's up to. Give her some love over there on social. And if you ever need any advice, this is the girl to hit up too. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us. We got a couple people in here live. Donnie7678, is that the Pantone 2022 color? Yes. Beautiful, but very taste specific, she says, which I would agree. I feel like I had kind of like a lavender room growing up. It took me a long time to get away from that.
Yes. Yes. But again, don't think all or none. You can pepper it.
Yes. You know? Put it in there. But I like pepper, so maybe I salt it. Put a little salt on it.
There you go. Add salt, pepper, and bun.
Yes. Well, thank you guys so much for checking out the live, checking out the replay. If you have questions about trends or how to use them in your home, let us know in the comments below, and we will be sure to get back to you. Kat, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Tori. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to you being on my show. So let's talk about January 2022.
Ooh, good. Stay tuned, everyone. We hope you have a fabulous week.